All right, guys. Whew. We're about to get into it. We're about to get into it. We're going to take a dive into the manosphere. Into the manosphere. So, if you don't know blue pill, red pill ideology, we're going to touch on some of that. Basically, the blue pill, red pill comes from the matrix, and taking a red pill means you unplug from the matrix. Pretty simple. Um, And basically, the blue pill is often associated with, and I hate these labels, but the alpha, beta thing, and then sigmas and all the other nonsense. But but for this discussion, it'll kind of help because what we're gonna be talking about today is oneitis. Oneitis is the obsession with one partner, or with the obsession of like that soulmate, that single person that you just love and everything. You put everything into. It's it's toxic. It's perverted. It's not love. It's an obsession. Um, I'm not prone to it. I've done it once in my life. Um, so for me, I was in a place where I was not secure in my life and my standings, with myself, with my position, uh, and I kind of got stuck there. And I lost my identity by putting someone on a pedestal, and you you lose yourself in this one-nightis. But let's go back. We're gonna talk about it a little bit because we're gonna go back to that blue pill, red pill thing. So like when you go into the manosphere, it's interesting, I kind of find it's kind of wild, some of the guys, you know, they always associate all red pill guys with like being alpha, and all blue pill guys with being beta bucks or some shit like that. It's kind of funny. But the truth, it's a little more complicated than that, because like I guess you could be a red pill guy but still be very beta, in that you don't pursue excellence. You don't pursue to get better. You don't apply any of the knowledge of how to increase your finances, get a better job, get in shape, lose weight, get rid of your debt, build a business, make yourself financially secure. All these things are part of the red pill ideology, which says build yourself up, and then once you build yourself up, take on those pillars. The as Kevin Samuels would say, the high value man. I don't want to be name dropping, but kind of just trying to help relate these things. But like if you're when you're looking at it, so like that's how the red pill guys are trying to remove the ideology which they feel comes from hypergamy, which says that society is basically led by women in that in their actions and things like that. So you try to build his life up, and then the women choose who they best see suits them as a partner. And the basically the ball is in their court. You just have to make yourself attractive enough. Kind of like the whole peacock thing, who has the best looking feathers. That's kind of the best way to describe it. It's kind of funny to me. Just came to me. But and then like the beta guys, or the blue pill guys are the ones that are typically stuck on soulmates, and finding the one, and catering to women and doing all these things. And these guys are typically associated with the average guy, the typical American $50,000 a year guy who just goes, does his regular job, gets paid, does the simple stuff. And then I guess so. Now I explained that part because like I was sitting there, and I was listening, and so they came up with this other thing where, okay, so if you could be a blue pill, you could be a blue pill alpha. or white knight syndrome. White knight syndrome is when you start caping for girls, you start capping for girls, trying to protect them and build them up, and you do uh, all the things that people typically do in order to, you know, to get the attention of a woman, uh, or as described, do the things that women say that they want to do. You know, hold doors, do all the typical romantic stuff. Now, where I find it interesting is so like you can be a blue pill alpha. Now we ain't gonna talk about the rest of red pill now. We're just gonna focus on blue pill alphas because like in listening to this, it was very interesting. So now, while blue pill alphas are the guys that'll be like in touch with their feminine side, do all this other stuff, kind of the way they explain it, which is again pretty comical, but whatever. But in the sense that you could be an alpha blue pill, which is typically a person who, he's already in shape. That's something he naturally did. He is pretty successful. He does certain things. He doesn't have problems with getting women. Like he does, even if he didn't do the typical stuff that he was supposed to or follow the rules, he still was going to get girls anyway. They call them naturals, natural blue pill alphas, guys that just succeed at certain things where normal guys or average guys don't. And like they're usually the guys like they still do all of the standard like blue pill stuff where they put the woman first, and but they still do like they still do some red pill style stuff in which they are leaders. They are out in front. They're out pushing stuff. So again, very fascinating stuff how they broke this whole ideology down. But so we're gonna talk about that and oneitis because I found it very interesting that one of the examples or one of the best parallels I can see with this is Scarface. Scarface is actually so like whereas like if you look at the whole misogyny part, which red pill guys are typically associated with, like you would think Scarface is more of a red pill guy, but he's not. Scarface would actually be a blue pill alpha, in that you say, hey man, first you get the money, then you get the power, and then you get the women. That's basically blue pill ideology for a blue pill alpha male is money, power, women in that order, or actually one woman. Another example would be like the kingpin. The kingpin would go money, power, women. He like from the comic books. He built himself up from the orphanage, beat up people, came to the leader of a gang, built up his power, took over a whole criminal empire, took the criminal empire in order for his wife, who he put on a pedestal and he basically worships. And like that is essentially a blue pill alpha. Now, in both these cases, these are both very toxic, dark men who do things. I mean, well, you saw what Tony did to what her name, Vera, whatever, Michelle Pfeiffer in Scarface. He is, once he got the power, it goes to his head. He's obsessed. He was obsessed with the girl when she was with his former boss, who he killed. He had it in his head that was his. And when you get oneitis, that's how you look at it. Or even more direct, he even had that kind of weird relationship with his sister, where he took possession, took claim of her. Like he had the power, he had the money, and so like the women, that's his. That's within his power. That's within his grasp. Blue pill alphas, they think of themselves as protecting. Now you can be a blue pill alpha and not be dark and evil. You can. I'm calling it evil, just kind of for generalization purposes. But you can do that without, like, because you can still be, a blue pill alpha and then, like, just totally simp out for girls. Or like, have some measure in between. Yeah, fascinating stuff. Now, with oneitis, a lot of times what it is like guys who focus, focus on just going to get the bag, just go get your money, get your bread up, or me, just go to the gym, just train. And like you don't focus on dating, you don't focus on relationships with women, you don't focus on you well, not focus, you don't put attention to it. You don't give it credence. You don't give it the attention that it needs in order for you to elevate yourself to understand those socio dynamics between the two. And if you don't have that understanding, you can easily get caught up in one, you could be trying so hard to do the blue pill things that you think you're supposed to do with being a gentleman, being polite, and doing these things that you overdo it. And then when you get rejected or when things get turned away, you feel insulted, you feel belittled. This becomes part of your identity. This becomes part of something that because again, you haven't done the work on securing yourself, building yourself up, and the most important thing you can do is build yourself up. You should be, doing your journal, working out, eating right, focusing on your finances. Make sure like you elevate your career or you build a business, build a side hustle, build your savings, get your stock portfolio. All these little things you should be doing, each one of them. And again, it's not just about money, or it's just not just about like certain things. It should be about you elevating yourself one step at a time in order for you to improve, in order for you to have your own sense of security, own sense of self. And you can do different things in which you can secure that. You own your car, you get you a house or your own apartment or condo or your own yacht or whatever. You know, each step you have to recognize as something that you're doing for your own personal development. And so that's the best way to understand and then be able to overcome that oneitis, that sense that you are so attached to, and that you now made this part of your life to where you don't know how to separate yourself. Because the truth is, you have to some degree, you have to set your frame, your position, your frame of perception to understand that, as simple as it is, women are replaceable. Like you almost have to look at them as expendable to a degree, and that you understand that like this isn't the end. Move on, go to the next one. This doesn't work for you. I posted in my story earlier, like Mike Rashid talking about asking a girl if she wanted to do a menage a trois. Like you ask, she say no, okay, move on, keep it moving. Or maybe she say yes, okay, cool, give it a shot. But either way it goes, and then if not into it, okay, cool, next. But you have to set that frame. You have to understand. Like, go ahead, be direct, be forward, be upfront about what you want. Like, don't settle, don't compromise. Just hey, look, this is what I want. Can't get that? Okay, cool. I'll go to the next one. Nobody has to be forced to do anything. Nobody has to be manipulated to do anything. You don't have to lie about it. You just go for it. The worst thing that can happen is no. What you lose the girl? So what? So what? You know how many people? There's 7 billion people in the world. Get somebody else. True. You know, always you have to keep that in understanding. Like there is no one. There's the one for right now. There is this one. This is what's working. If that doesn't work for you, move on. It's okay. Get to know them. Move on. Don't sit there and think to yourself that like this is it. Or worse, scarcity, and where you're sitting up there thinking that my life is over after this one. It's not. Oneitis. There is no one. There's just your decision. What you want, meeting your needs, moving on. Be consistent. Settle on what you want. It's simple. And then if those needs change, so be it. Those needs change. Move on. All right. So that's what I got for y'all right now. Oneitis. I'm thinking we're gonna come back. We're gonna do one more tonight. We're gonna discuss shadow work and healing, journaling, and getting in touch with yourself. It's the strawberry moon tonight, so yeah. All right, peeps, and I'm out. What's up, Jordan? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, man, yeah, yeah, yeah.